Hey everyone, and welcome back. This is a new series on my channel, which I think I'm gonna call Fast 5 Fridays, where it's basically gonna be me showing you guys like my top 5 makeup products from a certain category. So let me know what you'd like to see next. But today is going to be my top 5 cool and neutral eyeshadow palettes. I wanted to originally do this just as cool eyeshadow palettes, but then I realized that the eyeshadow palettes that I do have that fit in like that cool category are actually all very neutral. I want to just go ahead and get started. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and thank you so much for watching. So I'm going to start off with the eyeshadow palette that I actually have on my eyes right now. This is the CoverGirl TruNaked Nudes eyeshadow palette. I talked about this quite a few times on my channel, but when I pulled it up again to do this makeup look, I realized how much I liked it and actually inspired this video. I get 4 mattes and 4 shimmers. As you can tell, it's a very neutral palette, but it is also very much on the cooler side of neutral. The CoverGirl shadows are super soft. They're very smooth. They honestly feel like the softest, most finely milled pressed powders that I've ever felt. They also have really good pigmentation. I will say that the mattes are a lot better than the shimmers in this palette. The shimmers are a little bit more like chunky. I just feel like you have to have some sort of base underneath the shimmers to really make them stick and pop on your eyes. I think it's like around $11 or $12 Canadian. Overall, I think this is a great palette and I would definitely recommend it if you're into very neutral or cooler tone shades. So next up, I wanted to talk about a pretty popular palette here on YouTube, and this is the e.l.f. Mad for Matte eyeshadow palette. This is the original Mad for Matte, not the one they just came out with. This is full of very neutral matte shades, and as you can tell, they are more towards the cooler side. Probably have like this one color here that's a little bit more warm, and then this brown. But for the most part, these are all on the cooler end of the spectrum. I actually appreciate that in this palette because I feel like these days the makeup industry is just so packed with like warm shades and very like orangey, redder, more red tones. Refreshing to see a palette that is really just your basic neutrals. This is a palette that I wore to my friend's wedding, and I feel like for a wedding makeup or anytime you're dressing up for a special event or something, I feel like wearing a very neutral eye look is more flattering, at least on my skin tone. I feel like it matches with any color of dress or outfit that you're wearing, has the right amount of dark shades and has like the good corresponding lighter tone shades for your crease. All the shades here just pair so beautifully together. I think the formula is pretty good. It definitely doesn't have as much color payoff as their newer palette they came out with, but it still has decent pigmentation. It is very smooth and very soft. Shadows blend really nicely. I really like this one and I would definitely recommend it. Next up is a newer addition to my makeup collection, but I immediately liked it. This is the e.l.f. Beautifully Bare eyeshadow palette. A nice mirror on the top, and then you've got 5 shades here. You do have all of the neutral shades you could possibly need for an everyday look. These are all mattes, and the formula of these is pretty similar to the Mad for Matte palettes, more similar to the e.l.f. Mad for Matte 2, because it is a very soft and silky formula, but it does have really good pigmentation. Again, it's not overly pigmented that you don't have to be careful with them, but it does have good pigmentation. I find this one is so convenient in the morning. Anytime I'm going to work, I just toss like pretty much all of these shades somewhere onto my eyelid and you can come up with a really put together look. It's like $4 to $6. Like, it's very affordable. e.l.f. is just such an amazing brand. It's definitely my favorite makeup brand. I wish they would come up with some more shades because I would like to see like a warmer version of this. The fourth palette I want to share with you is, I think it's only available in Canada. It is a Canadian brand, and this is the Joe Fresh eyeshadow palette. I think this is their only palette out. I found this at Superstore and this was the only like shade selection I saw. This is a little bit more on the cooler side, but again, it is a very neutral palette and you can do certain warm looks with it. The formula is actually really nice. It's soft and pigmented. They are a little bit more drier in consistency. The shimmers in here, the metallics, are a little bit more drier. You can definitely feel like texture when you even just swatch it with your finger, but I think they still apply really nicely onto your lids with a brush. And then the mattes in here I really like as well, blend really nicely. There's no skipping or patchiness when I use these, and the black is also really nice and intense. I feel like you can come up with a whole bunch of different looks with just this one palette. You can go super smoky or super neutral, and I don't know, it's just such a nice looking palette. I just love looking at this one and having it in my collection. I think it's just a very pretty and well laid out and thought out palette. And last but not least, I wanted to share with you guys a palette that is not from the drugstore, but it is affordable and it's at a drugstore price. And this is the Morphe 35K palette. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of Morphe, but for the most part, for the price, I think this is a pretty decent neutral palette. It's around $22. Not all the shades in here are amazing. Some of them are really not pigmented at all, and they're very like chalky and just not great, but a lot of the shades are really good at the same time. So it's very hit or miss within the palette. You get all your like essential smokier shades, and you also get a whole bunch of nice mid-tone browns, and you do have some dabbles of like warmer tones in there as well. So I think it's a very versatile palette. A lot of the shades in here are very pigmented and silky and smooth. Definitely hit or miss within the actual palette. The only thing I don't really like about Morphe is just the size. I like to grab things that are very easy in the morning, and I feel like this, in comparison to something like this e.l.f. palette, like I'm gonna for sure grab this just because of ease of use. Like this is smaller, there's not as many choices you have to make. You just grab this and you're good to go. Whereas if I grab this in the morning, I'm gonna be, you know, taking more time to pick which shades I want. So it's kind of just, I don't use my Morphe palettes as often because I don't use them on an everyday basis. That's just like the way I work in the morning. And that sums up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you guys have any ideas for future Fast 5 videos, I would love to hear those as well, so I can do what you guys want to see. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you would like to see more of my videos, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!